My name is Ben Carver. I'm the Director of First Year Experience, and I'm joined here today by Sarah. Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Sarah Axelrod, and I'm a program coordinator with the First Year Experience Department.
Wonderful. And we also have Ramelia Smith. Ramelia, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I don't know why my video's not like on, but I'm here. I am the program manager of First Year Experience.
Thank you for joining us, Ramelia. Our purpose here today is to speak with you all about the Freshman Intensive Transition Program, which is actually three programs kind of nested into one, if you will. These are our academic boot camps at NAU. And these camps support first year science classes. And I'll talk a little bit more about what those classes are in a moment. But we're excited to have you here today, this evening, and would be delighted to answer any questions you may have about those programs. I don't know if anybody here today has signed up already, or if you're just looking for more information. But again, we're happy to have you here. And I do want to say that if anybody has a question, to just throw that in the chat at any time, and we will pause and try to address that question as best we can. So hopefully we can have a good kind of dynamic session here, and I can provide the information that you need. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen here and kick off our presentation. A little bit rusty with Zoom. It's been a little while. There we go. Hopefully that works. Okay. I hope I'm sharing the right screen.
It is in presentation mode.
Yes, that's not what I want. Let's see. How about that? Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we already introduced ourselves, and I would like to kind of jump in and talk about what these three boot camps are. The first one is our biology intensive orientation, and this supports the Bio 181 Unity of Life 1 class, which is actually one of the biggest classes on campus. And it's a course that many science majors across campus will be taking. And, I should say also that this program supports your success in this class, but it also supports the Bio 181 lab class. So the labs, which I'll talk more about later in this program, are designed to help you with that Bio 181L as well. And it's pretty common for students to be taking both of those in their fall term. The chemistry intensive orientation supports Chem 151. And again, in that case, we're also providing support for that Chem 151 lab course as well. And then finally, we have our astronomy intensive orientation. That's for Astronomy 180, Introduction to Astronomy. And in that case, we also support the Astronomy 190 lab. So it's a little bit confusing. It's not Astronomy 180 lab. It's Astronomy 190 lab, I believe, that is often paired with that lecture. But this is an academic focused program. So we're trying to ensure that you all are successful in one of these three classes. So that's really our intent. And as I'll talk about more, we kind of package around that academic support. We also have a lot of social connections that we're trying to form as you go through that academic experience, if that makes sense. So those are our three programs. Now, there's a couple of key benefits that I did want to mention here right off the bat. One is that you get to move into campus housing early on Monday, August 19th. So most students are going to be moving in on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you're going to start this program a couple days before everybody gets onto campus. So it's a great opportunity to get to know campus before everybody's there. So you kind of get a sneak peek, if you will, I guess, at campus, and you'll get to check out the hotspot and all the different facilities on campus before it's sort of swarming, if you will, with everybody there. So that's definitely something that's unique about this program, is that early move in. We also provide the free housing until the start of your fall housing contract. So there's no early move-in fee that you have to pay. And I'm happy to say that if you're living in an American campus community, so that would be like the suites on campus, that we also provide that early move-in for folks living there. And so that's another key benefit. We also provide the 5 free on-campus meal swipes for you. We don't want anybody to go hungry while you're attending our program. And for folks in the bio and chem programs, we also give you a free textbook. And that's the digital version of the textbook. Unfortunately, we can't provide the physical copy of the textbook, but you will get that free as part of your participation in the program. So those are some key points that I wanted to mention. Let me just take a look at the chat here and see if we have any questions so far. It doesn't look like it. Okay. Now, one thing I also want to say at this point, since we're talking about on-campus move-in, is that as part of this program, you will be moving into the same campus living community that you will be in during the fall term, if that makes sense. So you do not have to move into one place for this program and then move into your regular campus housing for the fall. So we don't make you switch rooms. Once you get here on campus, that's the room you're going to be in for this program, and that's the room you're going to be in for the fall. So you could think of it as you get to choose your side of the room, right, when you get on campus. And you get to decorate your room first, I suppose. Your side of the room. I don't know. All right. Some other aspects of the program that I did want to discuss too is that, as previously mentioned, there's a strong academic focus for this. And part of that is you will be able to preview course content in Bio 181, Chem 151, and Astronomy 180. So you'll get kind of a sneak peek at what a Bio 181 lecture looks like, for instance. And we design the program in such a way, and we work closely with the faculty in these departments to give you a preview of some content that has historically been difficult for first-year students to kind of grapple with, to understand. And so in this way, we give you, an early preview of the content and a chance to kind of get a sense of how well you are prepared for these classes. And part of the way we do that as well is we have a mock exam at the end of the week. And so you'll attend these lectures, and there's 5 lectures total throughout the week. And at the end, there's a mock exam. The exam is not worth any points. It's not worth a credit or anything like that. It's just there to give you a sense of, okay, how prepared am I for Chem 151? And the exams are designed really well to kind of mimic what you're going to see, on your first exam in a Chem 151 class or Bio 181. So to put it another way, this is a low stakes, a no stakes environment where you can see, okay, maybe I'm going to need to do more studying than I did in high school, or, oh, well, actually, I think I'm in pretty good shape, going into Bio 181 in terms of what I already know and in terms of what I was expecting. So it's a kind of a chance to test the waters, if you will, of those classes. Another key aspect of this is our hands-on lab experiences. So um, I'll show you some pictures of our labs, which will also give you a sense of what these are like. But really, again, they're designed to help you do well in your Bio 181 lab class. They're intended to reinforce things that you're hearing in the lectures and to just give you kind of a fun experience as well. And what's really nice about this whole program is, again, like nothing's on the line here. You don't have a grade on the line. So you can just go into these labs and lectures, have fun, learn something new, and not sweat it. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And I'll talk a little bit more about the labs as we go on here.
I also
Also,
just wanted to, sorry, Ben, I wanted to
yeah,
quickly mention too that our professors who are teaching the lectures may be your professors for that upcoming semester. So a lot of the students who attend FIT and attend those mock lectures, the professor teaching is also their professor for the semester. So you get to meet your professor ahead of time and start developing a relationship, which students have really enjoyed. We've heard from them.
it's a great point. Thanks for interrupting me, Sarah, and continue to interrupt me as we go along. But yes, it's a great opportunity to connect with staff. I'm sorry, with faculty. And, I think maybe I mentioned this somewhere else in the presentation, but the labs for Bio 181, for example, are taught by GTAs. And that's how all the lab sections are taught during the fall term for Bio 181. And so you get a chance to meet them too. And they might be your GTA who's teaching the lab in the fall. So it's a great way to just connect with those faculty and the graduate students who are going to be helping you out in the class. Yeah, great. So there's also a strong social component to this program that I tried to allude to earlier. And we really want you all to connect with other new students through this program and like find a group of friends, find a study group. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we do that through our peer mentoring component. But again, just wanted to reinforce that this isn't just an academic experience, it's also a social experience as well. And then another key thing we're trying to accomplish is we want you to get connected with some of these important resources that are available on campus. So like supplemental instruction is a really big one that NEU pushes. And effectively, this is like additional study sessions that are happening outside of your class. And they're done with another peer. So it's not like the faculty is running those. It's a peer that's actually helping you out outside of class to review material, prepare for exams, etc. So we kind of profile that through the program. And then also Bio 181 recitation. That's only available through the Bio Bootcamp, but that's another one where you get an opportunity to work with a faculty member in that case to go over the material again, ask any questions you might have, and kind of get a deeper understanding of the material that way. Because, I mean, both these resources are really about, giving you that extra help, because in the midst of a lecture, especially when the fall term starts, it can be hard to get all of your questions answered, excuse me. So do we have any questions about any of this so far? Does anybody want to throw a question in the chat? I actually wish we could see your faces, but I don't think we're allowed to, but happy to answer any questions you may have. Okay. All right. Okay, so I mentioned this just a minute ago, but there's also this social component, and a big part of that is our peer mentorship. So if you decide to be a part of this program, we'll assign you to a small group. Usually those are groups of 10 to 15 other new students, and we group you up by campus living community. So, if you're living in Sechrist, you'll be with a small group of students who are also living in Sechrist. If you're in Riley, you'll also, everybody in your group's going to be from Riley. And so this is part of how we promote that social connection. We want you to get to know people that are living in the same campus living community. And that's the group that you'll kind of experience the whole program with. And we assign a peer mentor to each of those groups. So that peer mentor is going to walk you to the lecture on the first day. You're going to meet them on the first day of the program. They're going to help you explore campus, and you're going to meet with them in the mornings and in the evenings. So that person's kind of your guide, and they're there to answer any questions you have. And they do a really great job of kind of getting new students acclimated to campus and giving you like those inside tips and giving you that student perspective. Because we know somebody like me, I've got my shirt on, I don't have a tie on today. Usually I got a tie on. It's like staff can be scary. Like, we understand that. You probably don't want to interact with me, in your first day at NEU, but that peer mentor is there to be a friendly face and to answer any questions you have. So, I don't know, Sarah, you worked a lot with the peers last year. Do you have anything to say about that?
The peer mentors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the peer mentor meetings are going to be kind of activity based. We want to get students up and moving so they're not just sitting and getting talked to the whole time. So we have some cool activities planned for the peer mentor meetings. And it's just a great way to connect with that small group of students at 10 to 15. We've heard from past participants, you really get to know them. And a lot of these students carry on these friend groups through their college career, which is amazing. So it's a really unique way to kind of get a friend group ahead of time or a study group. So you're going to know that these people are taking the same class, and you can reach out to them in the future for a study group. So it's a really great part of this program, the peer mentor meetings.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. That's that's been a big thing that we've noticed over the years, is a lot of those social connections that people make in the first week are pretty durable, actually. And they continue those connections through the years. So that's great to hear, great to see. Our mentors are also going to kind of like walk you to key events during the program. So like, we have a downtown exploration at the end, the last day of the program on Friday. Everybody walks downtown. We encourage folks to get lunch down there, just explore coffee shops, whatever else is down there. There's all kinds of places to eat. There's ice cream, there's stores, um, some people might be familiar with Flagstaff before they come to NAU, but a lot of folks aren't. And so that's why we have that event. And then we have another big event, a couple other big events in the evenings, kind of throughout the week, and your peer mentor will be available to kind of guide you to those as well. So.
We do have a couple questions, Ben.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. So the first question I answered, the question was, is there a fee associated with the program? There is no fee. This program is free for participants, which is amazing. Our second question is, I'll let you answer this, Ben. What are some of the steps to sign up for this?
Great question. If you are a CEFNS major, so I should explain that acronym. That means the College of the Environment, Forestry, and Natural Sciences. So if you have a major in that college, you should have received an email from us inviting you to this program. So typical majors in CEFNS include mathematics, all the bio majors like biomed, physics and astrophysics, astronomy, geology. I'm trying to think of some of the other big ones.
Chem,
Obviously, yeah.
biochem,
Yep.
forestry.
Forestry. So if you're in a major like that, you should have received an email invite from us already. So if you didn't see that, go back and check your email. Maybe it went to your junk folder, possibly. But if you go back through your email and you don't see it, you can always reach out to us, and we can look into it and reserve a spot for you if needed. So right now we are recruiting CEFNS majors for this program, but we're doing a new thing this year where we're actually going to open up this opportunity to anybody enrolled in Bio 181, Chem 151, and Astronomy 180. We're just not to that point in our recruitment cycle. So we're actually going to do that in next month in July. With that said, if you are not a Stephens major and you're like, I want to do this, this sounds great, I'm enrolled in Bio 181, send us an email and we will get you set up with this. So we're happy to do that. I hope that answers the question.
Our second question is, how many people on average attend this program?
Great question. So last year we had, let's see, about 160 students do the biology intensive orientation. We had about 50 do the chemistry intensive orientation, and then it was around 20 that did the astronomy one. The chem and astronomy camps were smaller last year because they were pilots. They were brand new. And so we wanted to pilot those efforts, and they were successful. And so this year we're increasing the number of seats. So this upcoming year we'll have 90 seats available for the Chem Boot Camp, and there'll be 40 for the astronomy. So it's quite a few people, at least I think it is. You know, we have 250 to 300 students participate in the program. That's what we're expecting.
Great. That was the last question for now.
Okay. I apologize if you hear my son in the background. But okay, so I wanted to just share a few pictures from the boot camp to give you an idea of like what it's like. On the left here, you'll see Dr. A, who's our wonderful biology faculty, and she delivers the bio lectures for us and also helps design the labs that you'll be taking. You see, look at these enthusiastic students right here. They're they are engaged. But no, Anna's a great lecturer, and she really enjoys helping new students with this program. Here's a couple of pictures of the light microscope labs that students do as part of the bio boot camp. So you'll be looking at, Anna's thinking about having folks do a cheek swab actually, so you can look at your own cells through the microscope. But in the past, we've also looked at plant cells so that you can observe the process of osmosis and diffusion, which is pretty neat. And then there's, I forget the name of the microorganism that you'll look at, but there's a little unicellular organism that you can see swimming around with these microscopes. So it's just kind of a fun lab, gets you used to using the microscopes and gets you used to some of the techniques that you'll be using in Bio 181 lab class. And as I mentioned before, these are taught by GTAs, so you'll get to meet them as well. Here's a couple of pictures from our chem lab. I think here they're working on the separations lab. So we gave everybody a solution, and then you had to separate it out using various techniques. So like heating, I forget what the other different techniques were, but this just gives you a chance to get familiar with all of like the glassware in the labs, Bunsen burners, and weighing things using all the technology that's in the labs. And so folks really enjoyed this last year because it gave them a head start. So when they walked into the lab on first day for Chem 151, they knew what they were doing. You know, you're gonna know what you're doing and how to use all the equipment and how to do the techniques already. So it's a big boost in that sense. And look at these folks, they're having fun. There's no grade on the line here, so they're just having fun. And then this is our couple images from our astronomy, one of our astronomy labs. We did a really cool impact cratering lab. So you line these tubs of different substances, and then you simulate the impact of a meteorite using a slingshot, as you can see on the right here. And I think they drop a couple different types of like meteorites, simulated meteorites, and it's pretty neat. It's just a way of better understanding like the science behind impact cratering on the moon and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's just a really fun lab. There's also, in addition to this, with the astronomy boot camp, there's a celestial bodies lab, I believe, and then also an indigenous astronomy lab, which is really great, which has to do with kind of like naked eye observations of the sky, which is pretty cool. And then you'll also get a free trip up to Lowell Observatory as part of the astronomy boot camps. And last year we took our students up there and they looked at the telescope that one of the scientists used to discover Pluto. I believe that's Tom Baugh. I can't remember his first name. Dr. Tom Baugh, if I have that right. That was way back in the 1930s. But for those of you who haven't been to Lowell, it's a really cool place. And there's all these historical telescopes up there to look at, but there's also a lot of active science happening up there too. So it's just a pretty neat partnership that we have with Lowell Observatory. So I want to talk a little bit about eligibility, and there's a few nuances here, but you do need to be a new student. We want you enrolled in Bio 181, Chem 151, or Astronomy 180. I do want to mention that we understand that students are still building their schedules over the course of the summer. So if you want to do this, but you're having trouble like getting into Bio 181 for some reason, and you're like working with your advisor, you're not quite enrolled yet, that's fine. Go ahead and accept your spot and we'll worry about getting into the class later. I think, I want to say there was probably 10, maybe, there was a good handful of students last year who didn't get into the classes until kind of maybe 2-3 weeks before the term started, and that's fine. So we recognize that that could happen. But if you're interested, go ahead and sign up, like I said. I already talked about the recruitment in the College of the Environment, Forestry, Natural Sciences. Again, we're going to open that up to non-CEFNS folks later. If you are in the STAR program, then you're not eligible for this. The STAR program does, I think it actually maybe started already, but it's in June. Yeah, I think it's started in late June. But that's like a 4-week program, and you're taking some college classes as part of that. So you're already getting a good like introduction to campus through the STAR program. So we don't, if you're doing STAR, you don't need to do this basically. And there's also another program called EDGE, the EDGE Leadership Program. You can also move in early to campus with that program, but that's all about like peer leadership, and it runs concurrently to ours. So you couldn't do both EDGE and FIT at the same time. And then this program is really for non-honors students. Honors students already get the opportunity to take a Bio 181 honors class. That is, I think the class is capped at like 30 students or something. So it's like a really small class. You're already getting a lot of support that way. So we're really interested in helping the folks who are going to be in the big lectures in WTA 130, which is how most people are going to take Bio 181. Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, I also wanted to add, it seems very specific, but we actually get this question quite a lot. If you're in marching band, unfortunately, that also runs concurrently with our program. We've had a lot of students who are in marching band ask, and the schedules overlap. So if you're in marching band, you wouldn't be able to do the FIT program as well.
Yes. Thank you, Sarah. I was actually just about to say that because we got another email about that today.
Yeah.
We did have a student one time who tried to do both and it didn't work. So you got to pick one or the other, unfortunately. Additionally, I should say too, that if you are a student athlete, so like if you're on the women's soccer team or men's football or something like that, like that probably won't work either, because you are oftentimes going to be practicing a lot, and like this probably won't work at all. We also had a student a couple years ago who was in football, and they ended up not attending really any of it because of practice. So, okay. All right. Wanted to briefly mention like some of the outcomes from this program. So we, Sorry, that was my son. We have seen that our participants have higher A rates, lower DF rates. So this program does make an impact on academic performance. In terms of percentage, also our participants have lower rates of academic caution. So academic caution is when you have a 2.0 GPA or lower for the term, a 2.0 term GPA. And so we see that our students aren't falling into that category quite as often. We already mentioned the connections with faculty and GTAs. And we also talked about the social aspect of the program too, right? Making those friends, getting to know campus and getting to know Flagstaff. So I'd also just share a little bit of our survey data. So this is actually from last year, and Sarah pulled this information. Actually, Sarah, do you want to maybe just talk about this real quickly?
Yeah, sure. So we give our participants a survey before the program starts and after the program starts. It's the same survey. We wanted to get a feel for how things change due to the program. So you can see here our statement. I feel prepared to be successful in Bio 181, Chem 151, Astronomy 180. You can see the percentages increase from pre to post across all subjects. And there's a pretty good increase there, which is exactly what we're hoping and want to see. So you can see the difference in how students feel before they attend this FIT program compared to after they attend the program, after a higher percentage of students feeling more prepared to be successful in those classes during the fall semester, which again is exactly what we hope for. I believe we have another one. Yep. We also asked for the social aspect of the program, how connected they feel. Of course, before the program, we expected a lower percentage because they don't know anyone. They can't really feel connected quite yet. Again, you can see across all subjects, bio, chemistry, and astronomy, that we saw a nice increase from pre to post. So after the program, a larger percentage of our students felt more connected to students within CEFNs. So within that college that their major is in, and these are the students that they're going to run into, maybe share some classes with, they'll likely see them in the academic buildings. So you can see that before school even starts, we have a nice percentage of students that feel connected to other students within their college.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Romelia.
Well, I was just gonna say we had a quick question. Is this program for the entire year? And Ben, do you want to answer?
Yeah, so it's just a week-long program. So it just runs from August 19th to August 23rd. So it's the week before the semester begins. So that's kind of why we call it an intensive orientation. It's meant to give you a jump start on your fall semester. Okay. And that's another, I guess, thing I could say is that it's only a week, but yet we see it has an impact. So, you know, it's a quick thing that you can do, right, to better prepare yourself for the fall semester, socially and academically, relatively quick. Can I say that? Okay. Hopefully.
Yeah, like you said, it's pretty intensive. So it's all day. So during that week, Monday through Friday, there's things all day. So you really do get to connect with the students. It's not just kind of 1 hour here, 1 hour there. You're really with each other all day, all week. So that's really how these friendships form as well, because you're together so often.
Right, exactly. And that's by design. We didn't just like, maybe this will work. You know, we kind of it is research based, but okay. I think that, oh, I just wanted to share a few quotes from past participants. This was from last August. So we have somebody here says, I thoroughly enjoyed the peer mentoring. Feel like it made the transition to college a lot more easy, less scary. And secondly, I loved how in depth it was, how every single person along the way was to ensure we don't fail. getting weeks worth of experience before grades matter. So I kind of mentioned that a couple times before, right? You can test the waters without anything on the line and finding friends. So yeah, just a couple of nice quotes there from our past participants. Okay, so that's everything that we wanted to share today. Any questions for us?